you used to fight Jim. So here, straight here.
Okay, I'm ready.
I came to work and I put my pants up.
Yeah, but imagine also in the gym. Yeah.
I ran home, prayed, and I changed into a shirt.
MashaAllah. Okay, all right, we ready, guys? Y'all can hear me? Can everybody hear on YouTube? Okay, you can start whenever you're ready. Yeah, inshallah.
Yeah. يلا إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهدي الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. ما شاء الله رب العالمين. To have the most important topic, and actually we're not going to speak about Quran and Sunnah here. We speak about also our life, our kids, our relationship with the Muslims and non-Muslims, especially about a lot of era, a lot of colors, about things in the, going on. And brother Muhammad, as we know, his brother and sister here, he's in the police department, and he knows exactly all kind of religions. And we have a topic, we discuss it together, and now we're gonna share this topic with brother Muhammad, inshallah, about the problem and the kids, especially about we discuss
about the addictions. That's what we want to talk about today, because we talked about it last week.
Exactly.
Just a little bit. We kind of touched up on addictions and drugs and everything. And I think we didn't really touch up on the reasons.
I like that.
Right.
The reason why the kids and people, actually, not only, by the way, not only kids, a lot of adults as well, even senior citizens, still doing it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how old you are, whether you're 10 years old. I think the youngest I've worked with was an 8-year-old. So you got from young to senior citizens who, get addicted to pain medications and alcohol and other things that is normal in this society.
Assalamualaikum cutie patootie.
Huh?
I said assalamualaikum cutie patootie.
Okay.
So when you talk about the reasons why people do what they do, right? There's a reason why addiction is happening.
Good question. So Sunnahfollowers, please, all over on social media, listen, what's the reason? There is absolute reason.
And then, so when we talk about drugs is just a one part of addiction. There's a lot of multiple addictions. You can be addicted to drugs. You can be addicted to alcohol. You can be addicted to certain behaviors. You can be addicted to shopping, gambling. There's a lot of different addictions.
Oh yeah.
So the underlying reason for that is there's something missing inside that person.
Yeah.
Okay. There's something so the drugs for that person is actually a solution.
Solution of.
For them, for whatever's missing on the inside, the need to fit in, right? So let's talk about the kids. Let's stick with the youth for now. For youth, for the kids, for the younger population, and I'm thinking, when I say younger, I'm talking 30 years old and younger, right? Because we're old people. So
you, not me.
I'm old. You're young, but you're a young guy. So when I talk about those age group, there's something missing inside them, and a lot of them are. It's like a sign of, I guess you could say, like a sign of weakness, right? A lot of the kids need to feel like they're fitting in with everybody else. They need to be part of something and not a part of something.
You're absolutely right.
Right. So they want to be together with people. They want to hang out with people, and they want to be fitting in. So I'll give you an example. Growing up, I grew up here in this society in America, and went to the high schools, went to the colleges, went to the universities. And the question that you keep getting asked is, how do you have fun without drinking?
Oh my God.
That's the question we get.
Yes.
How do you have a good time without, drinking? How do you have a good time without smoking? How do you do it? How do you have a good time? And when you're young, you're thinking to yourself, maybe there's something wrong with me, that I don't really need to drink to have fun. But in reality, it's the real question is, why do you have to drink in order to have fun? Why do you have to smoke in order to feel good? Why? And so that's the question that I think now is starting to come up, is why do you need that
to do so
in order to survive or to live?
Because why?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, you ask yourself, so far, if I want to feel good, I have to smoke a joint. If I want to,
Really?
yeah, if I want to take a nap or if I want to sleep, I have to smoke some weed. If I want to have a good time with my friends, we got to go to a bar and drink.
I mean, sickness.
It's well, you want to say they you know they say disease, they say sickness. You can say whatever you want to say in regards to what you want to call it, but there's something missing inside that person.
Oh.
And that's where the drugs come into play to fill that void of whatever is missing inside the youth, inside the elderly. And it's most of the time it's a sign of like for the kids, it's they want to just fit in. They want to feel like everybody else is feeling. I was telling you earlier when I just left the school, one of the high schools that we were just at doing a presentation about the edibles, you know, the marijuana cookies, the marijuana gummy bears, you know, candies that look like they look like regular candy, but they actually have marijuana in it because it's becoming it's not new, but it's newer here where the kids are starting to want to try these things. Okay.
No, hold on. It's very important. Candy with drugs?
Yes. They look like candy. They look like gummy bears. They look like.
It's very important, especially the parents have kids also. It's very, very important, especially with your kids candy.
Yeah.
It's very important.
And then.
Bob, but you can't really tell if it has weed in it. Sometimes you can tell if you taste it.
Later, inshallah.
No, my bad. I'm just letting you know. It's like if the parents can't really tell, this looks normal.
Okay. So, and how we're talking about it with the parents and the schools today is that it looks the same. The packaging, the way they package these candies makes it look like exactly. I wish I brought you I wish I could show the people the things that we used to show these guys, these parents, that it looks like gummy bears compared to the packaging of the real gummy bears. Like you put them next to each other, they're basically the same colors, the same identical wording, but one says gummy bears and one says, you know, slow bears or something else. They named it a different name. And then you see on the bottom it says how much THC or how much marijuana is in there.
That's it legally?
Yeah.
It's legal?
Yeah. And they sell them at gas stations. It's synthetic marijuana. You know, and that's basically, you know, like not real marijuana, but just synthetically made marijuana.
So what is exactly the harm of this?
So there's a lot of different things that happen to these kids, especially if they don't know what they're getting. All right. And I think that's one of the biggest problems is a lot of parents don't really talk to their kids about these things, about don't take candy from your friends. You know, and I know that we say they're my friends or my best friends or whatever. But you're supposed to explain to your children, please, and I'm telling everybody out there.
Yes, please. Here.
I don't care. Even now, these days, even in Islamic schools, you need to talk to your kids about not taking anything from anybody in your schools, in your classrooms. Even the Muslims, it's sad to say, but even Muslim kids, because if you think about where they're getting these things from, let's talk about where they get them from. Gas stations. Okay, the marijuana shops, the vape shops.
Yeah, a lot. Actually.
And they're popping up everywhere.
Yeah.
All over here. Every corner you go to, they're bright lit, nice LED lights, and they're super bright people, clean place. And so it looks cool. It looks like regular candy. It looks like just your regular, like you're coming through the grocery store and you're picking up a pack of gum from the grocery store. The same looks, the same.
But the people know exactly what is the harm.
The harm, what it does is depends on what you're taking, how much you're taking, and how old you are. Right, your metabolism, right? So if you look at a pack of gummy bears, maybe they look like this, you know, they're small. Maybe there's 10 in them. You think, oh, I can eat 10. 10 is nothing. I can eat 10 gummy bears like this and I'll be fine. 10 gummy bears, and you look at how much THC oil is in there, how much marijuana oil is in there, can do a lot of damage to you. It can slow you down, knocks you out, makes you go to sleep, makes your mouth numb, like dry mouth and numbness. And you'll start to get what we felt or what we've seen so far is a lot of kids get paranoid. They get the shakes. They start shaking because they're nervous. They get nervous. Their body tries to compensate. You know, when you're trying to stay awake, but your body's telling you to go to sleep. A lot of kids.
Force inside you.
Yeah, you start to get anxiety. You start to get, I'm going to force myself awake because I don't want to sleep. It's not time to sleep. It's still the afternoon. Why am I feeling sleepy like this?
Ya Allah.
And so the point of the whole thing is, and I think now because a lot of the Muslims, unfortunately, own a lot of these shops
Yes.
that are popping up.
Yes. Yes.
You know,
Yes.
and it's amazing to me how, you know, we like to gravitate towards making as much money as we can, but not in like really a halal way.
Excuse me. How way?
You know, like make like you're selling stuff that's not really.
So this marijuana is a plant,
Mhm.
right? Somebody actually, the medical doctor told me, he said marijuana and this was also some kind of chemical.
Yes.
That's chemical that diseases.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, ya Allah.
So to me, it's like if I don't know, maybe I'm different. Maybe you can explain it better in an Islamic way. But to me, when I see somebody opening up a marijuana shop, it's like opening up a convenience store, selling alcohol. That's in my mind. That's what I see.
Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "La darara wala dirar." There is no la darar, no harm or benefits of the haram things. I mean, haram, haram, haram. Plus, with those people who smoke and this and that, they come with. I saw some people actually Salat al-Jum'ah outside the smoke, and they come to the masjid.
Yeah.
And I give a khutbah al-Jum'ah. This is haram, and salah is not accepted. And if they die are non-Muslims.
So
why? Because he's completely out of it. He
Yeah.
cannot recognize what's going on, and he's the key. He caused this to himself,
Yeah.
to himself,
Yeah.
to hurting himself, plus hurting the people around him.
and we and law enforcement, they always ask, you know, why are you arresting me for you know, doing drugs? I'm only harming myself. I'm not harming anybody else.
Or
You
yeah,
know,
the question, yeah.
Why arrest you know, some people? And doing this for such a long time, working in substance abuse and helping as many people as you try to help. A lot of people won't get help unless they're forced to get help.
Repeat it again.
A lot of people
Mhm.
won't get help unless they're forced to get help.
Give me an example.
Let's say I'm going to tell you, brother, I think you got a problem. Let's take you to rehab.
Mhm.
You're going to tell me, I don't have a problem. I'm fine. I can stop whenever I want to. And you'll stop for 2, 3, 4 days, but then the cravings come back and you restart. But if somebody's telling you, hey, if you do drugs again and we drug test you, we're going to send you to jail for 6 months. I think that's more of a, okay, I got to stay clean because I don't want to go to jail. It's more of a motivation to stay clean. And I've noticed that a lot of the people that I've worked with, and I worked with hundreds of people, they always would come and tell me, well, I would not have stopped if it wasn't for that police officer stopping me and pulling me over and arresting me. A lot of people have said this. I would not have stopped using drugs if that cop didn't arrest me and throw me in jail.
Wow. A challenge.
And what happens is a lot of times they get away with it for so long, for so many times, that they just kind of feel like, oh, I'm invincible. Nobody's going to be able to stop me. And so when you have somebody who stops you and forces you to stop and forces you to get clean, because what I've noticed, especially after having somebody who's been using drugs for years, after 3, 4 months of them getting cleaned up and their mind starts to clear up and everything starts to clear up and their body starts to cleanse and they start to kind of get clear-headed, they start to ask themselves, I'm 28 years old. Why am I still doing what I'm doing? Why am I here? And my friends that I went to high school with, that I went to college with, are here.
Yes, you're right with that.
And so you start to kind of get your mind straight once you get clean. And they start to actually get their heads on straight. So, okay, how do I catch up to everybody else?
You're right. It happened here in our community. Well, about 28, when he was at 28, until he become rehab. And after that, he recognized his mistake. Now he have a center to treat others.
See?
But he felt the mistake and had actually destroyed the family.
Yeah. It does. And so when we say using drugs only harms that one person, it harms everybody around that person.
Yeah, indeed.
Especially when you're a kid and you're as a parent,
Yes.
you start to say to yourself, what did I do wrong? What did I do to make my kid use drugs? What am I doing wrong?
Well, there's a good question here.
And we always kind of have to explain to parents, it's really not your fault, because the society we live in, it's not like where it used to be, where the dad could go to work and the mom can stay home and raise the kids and do the motherly thing, and the father comes home and disciplines and do his fatherly. It's not like that anymore. Where now you have you're at a point where the dad has to go to work, the mom has to go to work, and the kid is left in schools. Then he has to go to an aftercare. Then he has to go here. Then he has to go there. By the time you get your kid, you have 2 hours.
Indeed.
At the end of the day, you have 2 hours, maybe an hour and a half with that kid.
Yes.
And what are you doing in those 2 hours? You're taking showers. You're probably trying to eat dinner. You're getting ready for bed. You're trying to, you're trying to get everything together. So when do you have time to talk to your kid and say, hey, what did you do in school today? Give me some of your names of your friends. What do you guys talk about in school? We don't have time for that. And I think that explaining that to parents that you don't have time with your kid because of the way society is built right now. So we have to kind of explain to our kids, and when we do have those hours, those 2 hours with our children, or the weekends, let's say you have off on the weekends, or your kid has off on the weekends, or taking a day off and saying, you know what, let's do something together. Let's go to the mall. Let's just walk around. Let's talk about what's going on out there. Let me explain to you what you learned in school today. Because even not just about drugs or alcohol, but what they teach in our school, we as parents need to also educate our kids about what they're teaching compared to what is the truth on certain things, on certain issues, on what's going on around the world too. So when we talk to our kids about these things, or when we feel responsible for our kids using drugs, we have to kind of take a step back and say, well, I did as much as I could with the time that I have. What can I do now more?
Yeah.
And it's sad.
Indeed. When I was actually in South Carolina, on daily basis, I have the kind of problem.
Mhm.
And the kids come to me with, yes, we did this and this and this and that. It's very, very sad. And here too, in South Carolina, on daily basis. Today, there's very important brother and sister. Today I went to the graveyard, the funeral home, and only one Muslim there, But I found the more than 50 person dead, waiting for under the list when they're gonna bury in the freezer. Some people 1 week, next month, people coming from different countries. And then I asked the man, he's not Muslim, said, what exactly they die? The young, and believe it or not, with no exception, drugs. All of them dying, drugs, marijuana, and 2 actually, kids with the vape, they die.
So
With the vape.
the thing
That's today, by the way.
and what's scary is that the candies that they have today, we just talked about the candy that has marijuana, that they put the oils in it and all that stuff. There's candies out there that has more intense drugs. I'm talking, meth. I'm talking about fentanyl. I'm talking about these hardcore drugs that these people are making, and are just, you can get anything off online anymore, right? You can make a date to meet somewhere to somebody who's making them, and meet them at a grocery store, and they'll meet you at a grocery store, and boom, boom, And we had this now in down the street in Lauderdale Lakes on 441. We had this.
Legal?
No, it's not. It's not legal. Illegal. And it's like, we used to tell our kids, don't go into the white van with the guy with candy, right? If you see a guy offering you candy, don't go with him. Remember, we used to tell our kids these. Now we have to tell our kids, when you're talking to somebody online and they're offering you candy, please don't meet them at the grocery store and get the candy from them. The kids feel, well, the kids are, they say, well, I'm in a public place. Yeah, but you're getting candy laced with drugs. And you don't know because the guy can tell you, oh, it's just marijuana. But it's not going to be just marijuana. It can be anything laced with that thing.
It's marijuana. Honestly, I don't know what marijuana is. I heard about marijuana a lot. Since I grew up,
I know some guys if you want some.
No, but what is it said? I heard it's a plant.
It's a plant. People go to Colorado, people can plant it and make their own and smoke their own.
And that plant make it like drugs?
Yeah, it's a hallucinogen. So it's a depressant. Basically kind of calms you down. Depends on what you need it for. There's a lot of medicinal properties for it. People use it for, eyesight, stuff like this.
Eyesight?
To help you see better, cataracts, something like this.
Really?
Glaucoma. Yeah, there's a lot of different reasons why people.
That means there's some benefits in this.
There is some benefits, but there's ways of doing it without getting the high.
Oh.
You see, and so people, there's medicinal ways of doing it, medicinal reasons to use it, but our kids are not doing it for that reason. They're doing it for the excitement. They're doing it for, all my friends are doing it, and I think that's the biggest problem we have within our own community is the peer
Imitating.
pressure. Yes, the peer
Imitating,
pressure, the imitating. They want to be like everybody else. Well, mom, being Muslim, everything's haram. Everything's haram. Everything is boring. And so we have to kind of explain to our kids that there's reasons why everything is haram. Or all the haram is haram. Because there's a lot of ways of having halal fun. There's a lot of ways of having fun and not getting,
Allah,
you know.
Allah mentioned in the haram, in what's haram in the Quran,
Mhm.
half page is haram. And the whole Quran, halal, halal. No, only in Surah Al-Ma'idah.
Mhm.
In the top 1, 2, number 5, number 6, آية سورة الأنعام
Mhm.
سورة الأنعام استغفر الله المائدة سورة المائدة حرمت عليكم الميتة والدم ولحم الخنزير 7 things half page haram 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 haram.
And the rest of the Quran, everything's halal.
Yes.
And so when you look at that, when you see that, and our kids, I don't think our kids realize that they make the haram look so fun.
Yeah.
So fun. They advertise it. They make it look, oh, it's parties, it's fun, it's loud music, it's excitement, it's fun. And then when you look at the Muslim way of living, it's just praying 5 times a day. Oh, it's boring. Oh, I gotta go to a jami'. Oh, I gotta go to the masjid. And again, that all ties back to the masajid. Who's in charge of the masjids? And what are you doing to get your people to come to the masjid?
That's it.
What are you doing? Okay, what's tomorrow? Tomorrow is Halloween. What are we doing to keep our kids off the street from going to knocking on people's doors for trick-or-treating?
Actually, some masajid.
Some masajid.
I'm supposed to be involved in Texas.
Mhm.
One of the masjid right now اسمها Hello Halal. But boy, everybody in the masjid
Yeah.
and games and stuff,
Mhm.
and instead to go outside and carry on. Right now in Duncanville, in Quran, it's Texas.
Yeah, and so we need more of this.
Actually, that's very, very important. I know. Unfortunately, the majority of the masajid in the United States of America had to be with the board, and the board elected board. Those people, 99.99%, have no idea about what Islam is. I challenge with that. My point, brother and sister, you have to be active in the masjid in order, regardless those negative boards in the masjid. May Allah guide them.
I mean, I think that also the way that we talk to our board members, the way we explain to the board members of understanding that it's not like it was 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Everything's different. Kids are different.
Indeed.
The times are different. And if we don't keep up with the times, we're gonna lose the war of what's going on with our children.
Yes. My time. Yeah. For example, I was an imam here in Boca Raton more than 25 years before my sickness. 25 half. In fact, we were active in daily business. My point, the very, and who is not the board, the community. The community.
The community has to be vocal. They have to speak up. They have to talk. They have to explain to the board members and to the masjids and imams to actually start to speak up and say, look, we have to figure out a way of bringing our youth over here to the masjids and make it interesting, make it exciting, make it not just a learning experience, but fun at the same time. Because remember, we talked at the beginning of our conversations, the best way to get information out of kids, or the best way for anybody to learn, is through having fun.
Yes.
If you're miserable, if you're sad, if you're upset, you're not going to learn anything.
Yeah.
Nobody, our brains shut down when we're upset. And that's why we always say when you're mad, don't fight, don't talk, just because when you're mad, you're saying the worst things, you're doing the worst things. But when you're in a good mood and your kids are in a good mood, they're going to tell you stuff.
Absolutely. I mean, for example, I have 4 kids. Omar is speak. The only one, he's 23, Omar. But when he speak with me, he open his heart. He speak everything, positive and negative.
Yeah.
All my kids are supposed to be the same. I deal with my son just like a son, like a friend. You're supposed to. Why? because if I'm not open my heart for my son, he will go to the others.
There's a point in time when your son becomes a more, not just a son but a friend, right? Because at a certain age level, you want to talk to your kid as a parent, right? You want to teach them right from wrong. You want to kind of guide them on the right path, right? Because the way the society is built, and I know I said this before, but the way the society is built is kind of built on taking all of the kids, not just our kids, all the kids, all the youth, away from their religions.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Not just Islam. If I'm talking about Judaism, I'm talking about Christianity, Catholic. I don't care what religion it is, but the society is built on making sure that you're not focusing on that aspect of your life. You're focusing on this aspect of your life. What if you look at the word or the way we define society defines success? How does the society define success?
I like this.
The definition of success throughout our society that we're living in is how much money we make, how much fun we're having, how much
Yes,
friends we have.
losing strategy.
And when you look at it, it's the definition of success is what is in this life that they consider to be successful. Even now on social media, how many followers we have, how many people are attracted to what our content are. If you look at the social media platforms and who are the highest follower count, there are people doing the dumbest things.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Right. If you look at the people who are teaching da'wah or doing Islamic lessons, or even the priests and the preachers, maybe they have 40,000 followers, but the person who's dancing has 40 million followers. The stuff that doesn't really,
The equation is not.
it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. And I always ask people, make it make sense to me, because I don't see where that is success.
Yeah.
How is that the definition of success? When Islam, what is the definition of Islam? Success in Islam. How do we succeed in Islam?
Actually, I always the Sunnahfollowers, if we follow the Quran, the Sunnah of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, our life will be simple and easy. But if you not memorize, to understand the Quran.
Understand.
The rules or regulations in Islam, in our life in general, not Islam, in our life, the relationship between me and you, me and my son, my daughter, my community, my nation, work, halal, haram,
Society.
everything in that Quran.
Yeah. And when we talk about the deen, when I talk about it to other people, I say, well, it's not a religion, it's more of a way of life.
Indeed.
Right?
Indeed.
It kind of tells you and guides you on where you're supposed to be, what you're supposed to do, how you're supposed to do it, how you talk to your parents, how you talk to your kids, it's all there.
Yeah, I agree with you, Brother Mohammed.
And so when we talk about addiction, drugs, and all that kind of stuff, we always forget that we have the power of explaining to our kids. And like I said at the last discussion we had as a community,
The key is the community, Brother Mohammed.
and I think that's the biggest problem we have.
I agree. Actually, not in South Florida. I don't know. I know a lot of people here online listening to the message. I did some massages actually in Texas. In Texas, they're active, mashallah. Why? The Imam is young and still memorize the Quran. It's good Imam. And he make da'wah and da'wah and da'wah. And he basketball with the kids. Soccer with the kids. American football with the kids. That we need to plus in da'wah, indirect da'wah. Yeah. I was actually with my brother, my older son Abdurrahman in Nevada, in Las Vegas, Sin City, and we went to one masjid over there. And Allah, ya Allah, I was so happy. My wife and I went to that masjid, and the masjid full in the beginning. We don't no park. We park in the top, the kids in the winter soccer, another room football, American football, inside tennis, and the sister also. MashaAllah, Saturday and Sunday over there in this masjid, active. Okay, and the Imam came when I sit Salat al-Isha, 5 minutes. But honestly, that's 5 minutes. He's young, by the way. That's my heart. This is the key, brother and sister. The masjid is supposed to be active, and the Imam is supposed to be more active and encourage the kids, the community in general. For masjid here, our masjid, every Friday, with the and Saturday Night Live, Saturday Night Live in a comedy show. Why we have comedy show in Saturday Night Live? In our masjid, I call it Southern nightlife. Come to our masjid. The masjid is supposed to be like this.
And I can tell you that if you actually ask the youth, ask the kids, what's missing in your masjid?
You're right.
And the thing is, we don't give. If you ask these questions to these kids, and I'm not just talking about the little kids. I'm talking about the older kids. What's missing in the masjid? What can help us bring, the youth over here? What do we need to do? You'll get answers, and what ends up happening is those kids become now a part of the masjid. They feel like, okay,
Yeah.
this is my idea, so I got to make sure I bring those kids in.
Agree with you.
I
Yes.
got to advertise. I got to market. I got to go bring my friends. I got to bring. And
Yes,
so
yeah.
if you're not getting them to be having a piece of the pie,
Part of the masjid. Part of the
then
masjid.
they're not going to have any
Yeah.
type of ownership.
But also, Brother Muhammad is very important. I visited some masajid in the area here, and
Mhm.
even in Texas. Actually, I was in Texas for a long time. I see a lot of kids actually giving this cigarette, this
The-
vape,
The vapes,
and not only that, become a habit inside even
even the
masjid.
masjid. Yeah.
And some imams allowed that in the masjid.
Yeah, and I've seen it before too, where I've seen a guy who was sitting on the wall. I don't know if it was during one of the Friday prayers. I forgot what masjid I was in, but he was sitting up against the wall, and he was actually on his phone with Quran, reading Quran, and he, would vape in a puff of smoke.
Tell me
What-
exactly, not the benefits, or what is the harm of that thing
So,
in their mouth?
here's the problem.
Islamically, by the way, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala heard the tabdir, the waste.
Hmm.
There's waste. That haram. Now, with the harm of this vapes, and everybody use it, unfortunately, a lot of Muslims use it.
So the problem with vapes is I don't think people understand that they don't know what's inside of it. If I came to you today and I go on Google and I said I want to get the ingredients for Newport cigarettes or Marlboro Reds in a box, I can print out 900 different ingredients in the cigarettes.
Whoa,
There's over 900 ingredients in the cigarettes.
in Marlboro.
And just a regular cigarette, Marlboro, Newports, whatever the cigarette is. There's about 900 chemicals inside those cigarettes. Tar. There's so many bad things in these things that we can see it. And they have to put now, this may cause you cancer. Hey, I'm sorry, but
Yeah,
on the
every
cigarette,
box, yeah.
in the box. But it took years for the law to catch up to what the cigarettes are doing.
Yes.
And so when we look at vaping and we see these people vaping, and if you're passing by somebody and you won't even know they're vaping because you pass by a puff of smoke, but it smells like bubble gum or it smells like mint or has a smell to it. They make it so it's like, oh, it smells good, so it's not really hurting my body. But the problem is when you're inhaling these vapes, you got these little metal, I guess like it's a bar, like balls, like a little metal ball in the vape.
To the chest.
And what happens is when you're vaping, the ball is, I guess what they tell me, what I've tried to research about it is it kind of makes the vape of the vapor of the oils gassy to come up as a gas. So that's why you see the smoke. The smoke comes out of the gas. When you're inhaling that metal rod, it turns to liquid, like kind of gets little pieces of liquid. And so what they've started to see is a lot of kids, I want to say 18, 19-year-olds who've been doing vaping for a year or 2 years with little metal shards, like metal pieces, little metal pieces inside their lungs. And so when you smoke cigarettes, they found that you have tar in your lungs. That's why when people stop smoking cigarettes, they cough and it comes out black because all that black stuff is coming out of their lungs. Same thing's gonna happen with the vapes.
Yeah.
And you're gonna have metal and even some cigarettes. They found out like Newports, there's fiberglass inside of it.
Inside the cigarette?
Inside the cigarette. So when you're coming in, you're putting in your lungs, you're cutting up the little pieces.
Yeah, Allah.
So when you see and you feel and you hear all this stuff, and it's not me making this stuff up. It's in the research. It's they're catching up slowly, and they're telling people this is what's happening to your body. So when I see cousins and I see people in the masjid and they're puffing a vape real quick and they're letting out the air and they're going back to the Quran, I'm like, brother, do you even know what's going on? Do you know what you're putting in the body? Because I know the oil smells good. I know it smells like gum or something.
It tastes good. What is it? It smells good.
It smells good. I don't know what it tastes like.
No, the taste. The taste.
I don't know what it tastes like. I don't really know what it tastes like.
Actually,
I'm too afraid of this kind of stuff.
After I finished high school in Gaza,
Mhm.
I was 18 years old. I went to Egypt for to attend the university, Azhar University.
Sure.
And then everybody, a lot of Egyptians around me, and they have a shisha. What is shisha in English?
It's like
Hookah. Yeah. I said, smoke, shisha, everybody shisha.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I never smoked
Yeah.
in my life. No cigarettes, no cigarette. No. Let's try, just to try. I swear, I said, only one. I said, okay, let me take one. One.
done.
So they carried me to the hospital. My heart stopped completely.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, and my life again. I said, Alhamdulillah, I never tried. I will never try it again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Only one time.
Yeah.
That's it.
Wait, when you go overseas, it's hookah and marbles.
Yeah, in the
They're
airport.
smoking cigarettes like there's no.
In the airport, Arab airport.
Yeah.
Yes, unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
So my dear brothers and sisters, my point here, when I it's very, I know maybe some people smoke and followers here on social media or ever listen to us. This kind of vape, actually, when I was in South Carolina, Dr. Ahmed Kamal, Dr. Kamal, actually, he made a lecture about that. And a lot of diseases in smoke, a lot of diseases, plus Islamically is haram, period, haram. Well, this is من الخبائث. الله عز وجل أحل الله الحلال الطيبات وحرم الخبائث. Allah this خبائث means something bad for the body, bad for the community, who's around you, and community. Plus the key, wasting. That takes one. I don't know how called $1, $2, whatever it is.
Expensive. I think it's expensive.
Actually, I went actually in Costco. I had cigarettes. The cigarette went at Marlboro $9.
Yeah.
Oh my Allah!
Yeah.
$9, brother. Cigarette is haram. Vaping is haram. All kind of drugs haram. Anything, Hadith Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, anything hurting the body, your body is a man. Trust. You have to keep this strong. And why? Sooner or later, you're going to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not with the cigarette, not with the vape. Well, those people actually, they told me, people dying, kids, today, if you're not Muslims, alhamdulillah, dying because of the vape. I was shocked.
And I will say, you know, a couple of words of advice. If you're gonna vape, okay, and we can't stop you from vaping, and you know, you're gonna vape, but please don't share your vapes. Don't give your vape to somebody else and let them try it. Yeah, because you know, oh, you should taste this flavor, taste this. It tastes like.
Go back. Is it flavor, brother? Different smoke, different flavor.
Different flavors. You can have different scents, different tastes, different levels of nicotine, different levels of whatever you want in there. And so what I've seen, and I've seen it numerous times, is when, oh, you should try this, see what it does for you. Maybe it helps you. Maybe, oh, look how it tastes. Please, the most nasty, gross thing is to take something that was in somebody else's mouth and put it into your mouth. That's one thing that I really stress, especially when I was working with these guys. I understand they want to vape because they can't smoke weed anymore. So they want to try something else to give, for that sensation. But I always tell them, please don't share. Don't share. It's really, really disgusting. Very, very gross.
Yeah, wow.
There's a lot of germs in a human's mouth, and not just that, but also you don't know what that person's giving you.
Yeah. Yes.
And so when you see that happening, please. One of the ways I've helped people stop with their addictions is I said, let me ask you, how much did it cost you to smoke, let's say, a pack of cigarettes? And like you said, $9. And how many packs a day would you smoke? And the clients would say, oh, maybe 2 packs, 3 packs. Okay, so that's $30
a day.
A day. So I would say to them, okay, so now that you're with me, let's try to, every time you buy a pack of cigarettes, I want you to put $10 in a bucket or in a box or in somewhere. And so what ends up happening is they start to see, oh, I've been spent. This is how much money I made in a week. This is how much money I've spent in a week of cigarettes. So when you put a visual on the amount of money that they're actually spending, it becomes more real that I'm spending a lot of money on this habit. And so like we talked about last time, how we get away from addiction, right? We don't just quit, right? We talked about how it was in Islam, how they stopped the drinking slowly, right? Don't drink before Salah. Don't,
Yeah.
you know, he out. So I tell people, okay, if you smoke 3 packs a day, let's cut it down to 2. You know, let's cut it down to 1. You know, after a week, 2 weeks of dude, let's cut it down to 1 pack a day. And then you start to see slowly people start to, okay, well now, Mr. Muhammad, I have all this money. What should I do with it? Whatever you want.
Look at Hajj and Umrah.
Go.
That's the,
You know,
mute Umrah, mute Sadi, please. Mute Habibi.
oh, I thought I was muted. I was just saying that out loud to Asif.
Mute Habibi.
so when we talk about that, you know, when you see the money coming in that you're starting to save, it starts to really put a real price tag on what you've been doing for the last 20 years or the last 10 years or the last 5 years.
I love this.
So
That's very, very important. Sunnah followers all over social media. It's very important.
it puts a real feeling of accomplishment when people start to see how much money they're putting back in their pocket.
Yeah.
They start to feel good. Okay, now I have, you know, $150 this week extra out of my paycheck. Because if you look at how Americans or the Western society lives, they live paycheck to paycheck. And when you're living paycheck to paycheck, it's very stressful. You get a lot of anxiety. Okay, am I going to have enough money to pay my bills? Am I going to have enough money to keep the electricity on? Am I going to have enough money to feed my kids? So when you start to say, okay, well, now you're spending $30 a day on cigarettes. And then you start to say, okay, let's go from 30 to 20. That $10 a day for 7 days, that's $70 in a week. For that person that lives check by check, that $70 is a big deal.
Indeed. Indeed.
And then you think about that, and it keeps going and going. That's $140. You know, you multiply that by as much as you're stopping, and you see at the end of the week, wow, I have all this money. What am I going to do with it?
My brother actually in the community here is always in the masjid. But before we have salah and outside he smoke. I always tell him, Sheikh brother, haram to smoke. And you are especially go to the masjid, it smell. Say, but after salah, Sheikh. He insists salah haram until I visit him in the hospital. And in the hospital, when he know he's dying, say, you're right, Sheikh, it's haram.
Yeah.
And he died.
Yeah.
We bury him. Brother and sister, our nafs is amana. Our soul is amana. Amana. Plus trust by Allah, saved by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. La darra wala dirar. There is no harming or harming the others. Harming yourself and harming the others. Okay. We have 5 minutes, inshallah, Brother Muhammad, and prepare yourself, Sister Layla, and everybody online. Prepare yourself, inshallah. And I ask Brother Muhammad 5 minutes, inshallah, maximum. Give advice for us, for Sunnahfollowers, social media in general here, and Facebook and YouTube and Instagram, all of it. Give advice for the people and for the family and for the kids, please. Advice.
In regards to addiction?
Addiction, yes.
In regards to the drugs and everything that's out there. I mean, the biggest advice I can tell everybody is for, and let's I'm going to kind of specific it for the youth.
Yes.
That's kind of where I'm going to kind of gear this advice on, is to talk to them, be a part of them. Don't leave them alone.
I like this.
Don't let society raise your children. Don't let the internet raise your children. Don't let the video games raise your children. Don't let the school raise your children. I always, talk to the kids in schools and I say, get what you got to get, educate yourself, get smart, and then take and throw away all the other distractions. Drugs, a lot of friends can be distractions.
Yes.
Addiction, it's a distraction. Everything that we think is fun, that it's haram, it's all a distraction.
Indeed.
To keep you away from the ultimate goal for us, which is what? Jannah. And so we have to understand, and we have to also teach our kids that the definition of success that the society has put, and it put it in my parents, it put it in all of our parents, they define success for us. Being a doctor and making millions of dollars, that's a success story. But what about the Quran? What about the Sunnah? What about everything else? What about your community? How are you helping? How are you bridging that gap between the youth and the masjid? How are you bridging that gap? And so we, as I guess I could say that as us, as little people in the masjids, we're just regular people. We're not board members. We're not anything big in the masjid. We feel like we have no control or no power. We do. We do. If the people of the masjid start to speak up, and we all get on the same page. If the Muslims get on the same page, we can't even get on the same page for when Ramadan starts. I mean, it's sad.
Yeah, you're right.
It's very sad. It's very sad. And we can't even get on the same page of who to vote for. In the election.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
I'm involved with this. Yeah.
we can't get in. We can't keep on the same page. We can't get together. But when it comes to our kids, our youth, we need to focus all of our attention on understanding that we have to keep together and go to the board members, go to your masjids, write down little, maybe they have a suggestion box and you're afraid to speak up.
A lot of people actually, they give up immediately. They speak to them. No. They give up.
And they go to a different masjid.
And how simple.
And they have the same problem.
But this advice is very important, brother and sister. One hadith of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Give me attention for this hadith al-Bukhari here. قال صلى الله عليه وسلم Prophet Muhammad صلى الله عليه وسلم حفت الجنة بالمكاره وحفت النار بالشهوات. The Jannah surrounded by hardship and calamity. Jannah, paradise. And hellfire by desires. Desire, hawa. We have to keep ourselves always in the circle, Brother Muhammad Ziedeh, in the masjid. And if the board not doing anything, do something. Do something with the community.
Together.
Plus, there is a masajid for them haram for the woman to go to the masjid. Yeah, some masajid haram for the woman to go to the masjid. This masjid don't go to that masjid, period. Because they already have no knowledge about Islam. The knowledge, the masjid, male and female and kids and community. That is the masjid. Okay. Sister Layla, I know, sorry, 1 minute extra. So Sister Layla, any question? Or anyone in social media and YouTube, whatever this, many, and I said, something called Rumble also.
Rumble.
I have no, yeah?
It's an app, yeah.
App?
Some people use it. Yeah. It's like Twitter.
Omar, I have to learn about Rumble. Okay, Omar? Okay, inshallah.
Yeah, Baba, download. I'll text you it. There's Rumble, Kick. Actually, if you want to start, you can. I believe it's Kick or Rumble. They start paying people immediately, and I think it's above minimum wage. And the more people that watch, the more money you'll make. I know you're doing it for Sadaqah and not Zakat, but like Dawah, you're doing it for the sake of Allah. But what I'm saying is you can always use the money to send it to Gaza or Sudan or help people go to Hajj.
After finish, we'll do it together. This is like anyone question.
Well, I didn't. The last time I spoke, when I said invest, I thought it was muted the whole time. I was just speaking out loud.
Yeah, I was just going to say that one of the sisters said this was very informative lecture. A lot of great points made out. She said, how can we keep our kids away from finding the edibles? She said, because I personally had never heard of them until I got a phone call from my school. My kid, who is only in the 6th grade, was given some gummy candies and it was edible. And my kid was sick from it. So what can we do?
To tell. If I sent a link in the, I sent a link in the chat. Look at it. You can see how the packages look. It look identical to what you can buy in a store.
So they look the same. Okay, that's good. I'm going to look at that link. Okay, sister, I'm going to send that to you. That might be helpful. Yes, Brother Omar, he knows this stuff. He's a kid. He's 23. He knows how accessible this stuff is. And also another question here. In the states where it's legal, how do we maneuver around it here when it's legal in our states?
So just because it's legal in the states doesn't mean it's legal in the schools. Okay, so we have to kind of also remember that they're not supposed to be in the schools at all. And so you have to be a certain age. I think today we just talked about the age limit of when you can purchase these things.
21.
And no, it's not. It's actually 18.
Oh wow, they lowered it.
Yeah, so you have to kind of understand each state is different. Every state does their own thing, and I think right now Florida, it's on the ballot to become legal for marijuana. But oh yeah, it's on the ballot this election season. They want
Recreational,
recreational use. But again, look at the way they write the laws. Look at the way they're doing things, because they do things. The way I explain to people is they're not going to make it legal if they can't make any money off of it. Right? So it's easier now. It's more. We can make more money off of you from buying it than arresting you for using it.
Yeah. Sit down for all. Sit down.
Yeah, one more question here. This sister says I'm sorry, it's a brother. I'm sorry, bro. He said this was very good, but I think that you imams need to crack down on these foreigners coming here, opening up these hookah shops. And the kids are going in there getting high. They're smoking laced marijuana. Why isn't the Islamic communities doing something about having these people open up these shops? And these brothers go to the masajids too. And they say because they give part of their profits to the mosque and charity, that it's okay. Something needs to be cracked down on our nation, our ummah.
No, and you know what? He's saying what I want to say left and right. I think what ends up happening is that these guys, they come from overseas and they want to make easy money, and they know that this is easy money.
No, hold on. With all my respect, people already here, they have the kids, they have citizenship.
Yes.
And citizenship, when the parents take the citizenship, take years to take citizenship. Not to just come from Jordan, Palestine, or Egypt here, and the woman have a shop. Absolutely not. To take citizenship, take a while. I don't know how many years. But my point, brother and sister, very important. Regardless, Arab or non-Arab, haram is haram. Number one. Number two, of course, legally we cannot go and destroy the place. If it is the Muslim country, me myself, number one, I would destroy it by force. It's Muslim country.
One parent.
For example, I was in Gaza. In Gaza, not even one shop for cigarettes. Not even one shop. Why controlled? That's why Gaza now destroyed by the Zionists.
There's one parent in Dallas.
Hold on. I went to Egypt, brother and sister. I went to Egypt. Every corner, smoke shop. And I went to Turkey, same thing. I went to Jordan, same thing. So my point, the leaders supposed to do that, but the leaders, every Muslim country leaders, they want their people to stay, not to do anything.
I wish we could do something about it over here. It's a tough, the society we live in isn't geared towards that. And so we have to live by the law of the land. Unfortunately, our imams, I think, really need to be more educated on this process. And the way to really talk to the kids is being genuine as an imam. It's hard.
Actually, brother and sister, I told you I was in the Amja conference a few months ago in Houston, Texas. I mentioned that it's the Amja conference, they speaking about this, how to deal with this kind. First, it used to be only Amja, only Imam used to be. Then Imam and board. Now everyone can go to the conference. I wish you come. Everyone can come every year. I will send the link for Sister Layla to join us if you want to come to Houston, Texas, inshallah.
Okay, this brother has his same brother. He says, I don't think you brothers got my point. He said, I'm trying to read this. He said, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, charity begins at home with ourselves. Instead of setting up dawah booths, passing out Qurans and arguing with the non-believers about the Bible and the Quran? Why don't the imams and the masjids hit the hookah shops? Give charity to the hookah shop owners. I'm not talking about where they citizenship. They here. Go. Why don't the imams go into the hookah shops and give dawah and tell these brothers they need to find another profession, because they are on all the corners in the African American communities. Every corner in our community has a hookah shop, and we raise sand about it. But you imams need to hit those shops and talk to those brothers. This ain't about citizenship.
Okay.
And what you could do, real quick, I mean, what you could do is, if you know that they're selling to underage kids, let's say 17, 16 or whatever, if you could find, and you have proof that they sold it to them, you could report it and they get shut down immediately.
No, and he's making a good point of underageness. But here's what we kind of talk about in the legal sense. If there's no demand for it, there won't be a supply. So if people would just stop going to these places, they would have to shut down a different permission for a different profession.
But yes, go ahead. Brother, this question actually for the imams. I make da'wah myself. Me, actually, we are 3 brothers. We make da'wah for those shops. We make da'wah. I was in South Carolina, actually, imam for 1.5 years in the imam. And Palestinian, but a shop. And he come every Salat al-Fajr and Isha. And then I said, brother, what are you doing exactly for your living? I said, oh, I have a smoke shop. So come and visit us. So visit you for what exactly? I said, well, a lot of things, this. I was quiet. But after that, I take him on the side. And I give him down. Yeah. Of course, it not work in 2 months, but believe it takes with me more than 3 months. 3 months to close the shop. And also, I make dua. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala never make money in this shop. May Allah, I make dua. I make dua, Allah accept the dua. So the key, brother, is too much. And I just said, Jazakallah khair, da'wah. Da'wah, absolutely yes. But we have in America, brother. We have 50 states. 50, actually 51 states. 51 now. Now 52. Going to be in
The capital of the United States is Israel.
All right. Any more questions, Sister Layla?
Okay, that's all we have here.
Yeah, I have one more thing, Bubba. If you you know how I've told you in the past, like kids, you know how kids are. They think we know. Like even when I was younger, I thought I knew everything. Like if you would lecture me, I would say you're wrong, I'm right.
Yes.
I think it would be also a good idea if you get a youth to speak to the kids, because then they can relate to them better. You know what I mean?
Actually, Sister Layla spoke to Qutayba. Qutayba to speak about that, inshallah.
He's not like, I'm not calling him old, but he's also not like I'm saying like kind of my age.
Actually, I love this idea. Takbir. Okay, Sister Layla, I have some youth, inshallah. I'm going to contact it with them to speak about this, inshallah. Inshallah.
If you look in the chat what I said for Halloween, you can do like a mujahid or a jihad, not in a like a Halloween where instead of we go out and get candy, we go and give out food and to the needy, and we buy tents, things like that.
When is the Halloween? When?
The 31st or 30th of Halloween of October. I've never went trick or treating, so I know it's one of the last days.
All right.
That's it. 2 days.
على 10 o'clock إن شاء الله. اللهم يا رب السماوات والأرض أنت الواحد على الصمد يا الله يا الله اهدينا جميعا يا رب. اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت. اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت. وعافنا فيمن عافيت. وتولنا فيمن توليت. بارك لنا فيما أعطيت. وقنا واصرف عنا شر ما قضيت وقنا واصرف عنا شر ما قضيت وقنا واصرف عنا شر ما قضيت إنك تقضي الحق ولا يقضى عليك ولا يعد عليك ولا تذل عليك تبارك ربنا وتعالى. اللهم انت العزيز اعز الاسلام والمسلمين واهلك الظالمين واضرب الظالمين والظالمين واخرجنا السالمين. وصلى الله على محمد واله وصحبه وسلم. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك اشهد ان لا اله الا انت استغفرك واتوب اليك. جزاكم الله خير. We'll see you inshallah next week بإذن الله تعالى 9 o'clock in Sunnah. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.